How do you tell if someone is attracted to you or just being very friendly? If they act the exact same way with other people, you're out of luck. Or everybody's in luck. I see you've also met my ex. Edit. Jesus. For every one of you that ended up dating the town bicycle and didn't know it going in, my thoughts are with you in these trying times. Also, get tested. This is actually how I came to be with my current girlfriend. Totally thought she was flirting when I first met her, so I invited her to hang out. I thought we were going on dates the first 4-5x. She just thought we were hanging out as friends. I found out later that she is that friendly to everyone she meets and has a ton of friends, so this wasn't unusual to her. I eventually picked up that things weren't romantic, told her about the whole thing and we laughed about it. Things stayed that way for a few months and we remained friends. Then one day we were watching a movie and she asked if I wanted to make out. Not sure what shifted the gears. Pretty rad though. Not sure what shifted the gears. It became obvious to her that you actually liked her personality and weren't just trying to get into her pants. Someone tells you years later. As my dear old dad used to say, women who work for tips are not flirting with you. We used to extend this to if she's being paid to talk to you, she's not interested. Twitch.tv. Lol, spot on, mate. If they are a cashier / waiter / clerk etc., don't get your hopes up. I was once called into hours for allegedly flirting with an employee, not part of my own team. Her proof: I was always friendly, offered her milk to go with her coffee, and worst of all, once at an afterwork, I bought a round of drinks for everyone, her included. The head of ours was a bit puzzled about the whole situation and asked her what would she then suggest we do to resolve the situation, and she requested that I would stop being friendly to her and just leave her be. This poor woman just could not accept that I was being friendly. I have a boyfriend. May I have his number? What's his Steam account? Flirting's basically a dumb game of chicken with gradual escalation. Or just ask if they haven't, so usually pretty obvious. I've had a lot of people ask me this just because they are nosy, not a guarantee of attraction. My aunt asked me last week. Glad I missed that signal. Or did ya? You don't. It's a leap of faith. That's all it is. That's all it is, Miles. A leap of faith. Not bad, kid. Hey. No. Like this. Hey I. By reading someone's comment on Reddit about how they missed all the signs, and then you realize that the same thing happened to you, and now you lie there contemplating your life. But you still can't be sure. Yeah, maybe she's Canadian, and she's just being polite. If they ask you to take off your clothes, chances are they're just being friendly, or they're Canadian, so they're being polite. Yes, that casually explains it. It's not always easy. With my fiance, when we started hanging out, I would convince myself she liked me and then talk myself out of it. I would walk her home and she'd give me a really awkward friend hug, then run inside, leaving me feeling like I'd misread the signals completely. This went on for about 3 weeks before we finally kissed at a party. I asked her about it afterwards, and it turns out she was doing the same thing. 7 years and a proposal later, I think she might have a crush on me. Guys, do they ever initiate the friendliness? Responding to someone else's kindness is a lot different than initiating it, but even still, the only sure way to know is to ask. There is a girl that I work with that has asked me to go spend the weekend with her in New York City, so I would assume that she's flirting / interested in me. I mean, she's kind of flirty with everyone. It just seems like it's more so with me. She always makes a point to talk to me when I walk by, and we are always making each other laugh anytime we talk. But I'm afraid of trying to make a move, as since I work with her and she's way out of my league. Ask them. This is number 1. There was a waitress at a bar that my buddies and I had for like a year. I was into her, but couldn't tell how she felt. She was always fun and flirty, but I realized when she would first walk up to our table, laugh or make a joke, she would look at me. I assumed that meant there was at least a chance she liked me, so I asked her out, and she said yes. She was beautiful, had a great figure, and was super down to earth. She also turned out to be someone who loudly cheered at high points of movies, and I just don't need that in my life. We went our separate ways. I had this exact situation happen to me before, so I asked her out. She gave me her number and mentioned that she and her boyfriend were going to a funeral tomorrow, so she wouldn't be around. What kind of response was that? Wow, she's really not into you. Really, with some people you cannot tell. I knew a girl who was super friendly with me. I got interested, and then a few weeks around her I saw this was how she treated every guy. Smiles, oh stop it you. Flirting. I wasn't special here. I moved on. I knew a girl who friendly with everyone. We sat down at a birthday party and talked non-stop for 3 hours. She was friendly with people, but I hadn't seen her do this before. I got her number and called her. We talked until my phone died. Our 10th wedding anniversary was about 6 weeks ago. Our oldest kid turned 7 in a few months. Are you sure she's into you? Seems too early to tell. I thought a few times during the wedding ceremony, gosh, I hope she's not doing this just to be polite. It's not always easy to tell, and I think I'm especially bad at it. For example, here is a story I shared related to this. My sophomore year of high school I had a couple of classes with this girl I had a crush on. Because teachers loved using alphabetical order there, she and I ended up sitting next to each other in those classes. We start passing notes in those classes, talking about random stuff and being a bit flirty. One day I decide to get the courage to ask if she wanted to go out with me to a movie or something. So I ask her out in one of our notes. She replies saying that she's really sorry, but she doesn't like me in that type of way. I was devastated, of course, but I also liked her as a friend and didn't want to lose that. So I replied saying that was okay and asking if we could just forget I asked and keep things the way they were because class would be so boring without our talks. She said yeah, that was fine, and we stayed note buddies throughout the year. Fast forward to my senior year, I had to repeat algebra because I ducked up really badly my junior year due to some personal issues. I'm in a class with a bunch of people the grade under me, and I get seated next to this girl named Kate that I thought was so pretty. Like with the other girl, we ended up passing notes to each other in class, and I come to find out not only did I find her physically attractive, but she was also a really awesome person with similar interests. I really liked this girl and crushed hard on her throughout the year. I would make her mix CDs that she would tell me she loved, and she even made me one a couple of times. I'd share with her stories I wrote and also art I was working on. The best part of my day was getting to talk with her during homeroom/algebra. But I was scared of even trying to ask her out because of how I misinterpreted things last time, so I never did. Came really close a couple of times, but never did. A year and a half after I graduated, I'm dating a girl from the same class as her who had been a friend of mine for a couple of years. We are hanging out with this other girl who was also in my math class, and she brings up Kate and asks why we never dated. I told her I didn't think she thought of me that way, and she was like, "Are you kidding me? She was so into you." At that time it didn't really matter anymore because I was in a relationship and there was nothing I could do about it, but it did frustrate just how bad I was at reading signals. I mean, I'm still pretty bad at it, but I wish I had at least tried with Kate. Assuming the person is single or trifling, you ask to see that person again in a different context, and the negotiation for available time and date is quick and mutually complete. No just friends overtone about it. Thursday at 8, not available, not into you. Thursday at 8, not available, but what about Friday at 9? Else. Look for physicality, proximity, and eye contact when totally unnecessary. Jealousy or defeat. It's subtle when interacting with someone else of the interested person's gender. Caveat all this with me being terrible about noticing it. My wife points this out to me when we are in public. Once I see it, it's obvious, but until then it's a mystery to me. Are you attractive? Step 1. Be attractive. Step 2. Don't be unattractive. The friendly, honest approach has worked for me. You seem really nice. Someone I'd like to go out with, if you'd like that too. If they are already spoken for or disinterested, they'll let you know. Either way, I've noticed that they seem to appreciate the attention if they sense you're being sincere.